live. Welcome to the Mindset for Success show, where we will talk about success in different ways and give you practical tips to achieve and cultivate success in every area of your life. Come, join us and learn from our guests what success is all about. For more information, follow us at. Welcome to the Mindset for Success show. I'm Carolina Ayala, your host. I'm a holistic life coach, and many times I get this question: how come I don't feel successful? Because success is not only the things that you achieve, are the things how you feel about it. So it's important to understand that success is not only to do all the fun things in life. Sometimes we have to keep be constant and continue doing what we need to do in order to achieve success. But the most important part is that you have to believe that you are successful. So it's important to be your best friend, your best supporter in everything that you do. So it's not only about achieving, it's about feeling the success. To talk more about this, we have today a special guest, Dr. Sam Davis. She's the founder of the Light Academy of Florida. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. So tell us a little bit more about your academy. What do you do?
Absolutely. So, the Light Academy is an K to 8 educational center that I will be launching next fall of 2024. This is after decades of work in education. My background is actually in engineering, and I was doing engineering. I was like, this is great, but I didn't feel like I was having enough social impact, which is so interesting that you talk about success. I'll kind of speak to that later. But I didn't feel like I was doing enough in what I was supposed to be doing while I'm here on this earth. So I was like, you know what? I want to go back to teaching. I want to go back to my first love. I always wanted to be a teacher, but my parents were like, they don't make enough money. You can't be a teacher. And I was like, all right. So I became an engineer. And over time, I was like, no, I really want to be a teacher. So back in 2002, 2004, I started that journey. And that has led to me creating my own school that will again launch fall 2024, grades K to 8. And the idea is basically we are there to serve every child. We want to make sure we learn about the parents. We want to learn about the students. We want to learn what works for that child. So we're very intentional about collecting data that supports that information to make sure that each child has an opportunity to be successful.
Excellent. I love it. And I love how you transform your life to follow your purpose and your call, something that makes you happy. That's so important because so many people, they just keep doing what they are supposed to do, but they're not happy. So congratulations.
Exactly. What they're supposed to do. And you hit it on the head. You know, we've been taught so many things, and it's not the fault of anybody. This is just kind of what we've been taught as a whole. You need to be able to feed yourself. You need to be able to eat. You need to be able to support yourself. So how do you do that? You get a job. How do you get a job? You go get educated. What do you do to get educated? You get good grades. And then that's kind of like the path that you're told to be on. However, there's not a discussion about what do you want to do? What do you feel like you should be doing? What is your purpose? What is in your heart to do? And then even sometimes when it comes up, because we're not in a society that necessarily values purpose, they rather value the action and what you're going to output. You're not necessarily led to follow your passion.
Yeah.
So for me, it did take a while, but I got there. I started and I knew that I wanted to be in education. And 20 something odd years later, I am manifesting the dream that I want to happen. And I'll be so excited when I open my doors next fall.
Congratulations. And when you say 20 something years in the process of becoming, that's so important because that means that you have determination, that means that you have constancy, that you never give up. And that's so important in order to be successful. Because sometimes
Absolutely.
at the first challenge, oh no, that's too difficult. And then you drop it because it's not giving you the instant result that society tells you that's what you need to be successful.
Exactly. We forget that we're here for a lifetime. We're here for several lifetimes, but in this lifetime, we have time. And I always say to myself, I know that I have more time living than I have, than I have time that I'm going to go. Like I'm going to be here for a long time. Unless you're telling me I'm out of here tomorrow, I always have work to do. I can always be working towards my dreams and towards my success. So like you said, when you start, you're just like, wow, this isn't happening today. Or you're taking steps forward, but you're not moving as fast as you want to because it's not as easy. right? Faith is a hard thing to do. Faith is a hard thing to have because it's things that you haven't seen. But the outcome and the feeling that you feel is like no other. It is like no other. And I would definitely take that route now that I know better. I wish I had known before, but it's okay. I know better, so I'll do better now.
Yeah. And I love what you said about that you feel it. So meaning that you said you are coming out this fall with the academy, but it's already you feel the success. You know that it's going to be amazing. You know that you're going to impact so many lives, and you know that you're going to change the education, which is in some way what we're looking for, because sometimes, at least I ask myself, how come I didn't learn this in school? When I was younger, you learn so many things, but you don't learn certain qualities or skills that you need in your day-to-day activities. You know, simple things, like even like budgeting or doing a journal, and knowing yourself, knowing where you're feeling, to see how you're gonna deal with that. So those are things that when we grow up, then we have to learn by ourselves. Well, it will be amazing that you have the education integrated while you are young, because it's easy. It will become part of your life.
Absolutely. I mean, you bring up a great point. When education was started, the idea wasn't about self reflection, it wasn't about self growth, it wasn't about all those things about life. It was about making sure that we create people that can keep this world going, that can keep this country going, keep this country as a leader in science and engineering and mathematics. That was the idea of education, right? So, through time, of course, we've understood that education has a much greater role than just teaching kids numbers and facts and telling them to go out and be great. That education has the role of supporting that child. Because when you don't do a good job supporting that child, you eventually send somebody into this ecosystem who can't support themselves. And then now they create little people who are learning how not to support themselves.
Yeah.
And then you have this society of people who are not self reflective, who don't know what foods are good for them. And again, it's to no fault of their own, it's because they haven't been taught. So, yes, I'm excited about the opportunity to teach people about being self reflective, to teach people about, you know what? This is the thing that works best for you. But the only way I'll know that is if we talk to you and teach you that you have the power to identify where you're supposed to be. Contrary to popular belief, contrary to people telling you that you have to learn this and do that. No, you came here with an idea of what you're supposed to be doing. So let's figure out what that is.
Amazing. It is a dream come true, really. I wish I have kids, or I am young enough to go through that process again, because it is a life-changing experience. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
a lot of success for you, more success coming, right? So tell me, in your words, what success is all about.
It's a very good question. So for me, success is about either working towards or meeting the thing that you're supposed to be doing while you're here. And only you really know what the thing is that you're supposed to be doing while you're here, right? So I know for me, I've always wanted to be an educator. I've always wanted to support kids. Like, I'm that person that's walking through the mall, like, oh my gosh, is that child lost? Oh no, does that child need help? Like, that is me. That is just who I am as a person. So I know that I've always wanted to support families, wanted to support children, wanted to see the joy in child rearing and supporting who I call little people. So as I've been on this journey, I've been able to realize that I am successful because I'm moving towards my purpose. It may not have actualized right now, right? I may not be in the building yet, but I know that I am moving on a daily basis towards what I know I'm supposed to be doing. And for that reason, I am successful. Again, this was not something I learned overnight. I was definitely part of the tribe, and I'm still part of the tribe of, like, you have to do what you have to do because that's where we are. But at some point, that light switches, and you're like, you know what? I can support myself doing the thing I'm supposed to do. If I only realize I need to go by faith, that everything is not going to be spelled out today, everything isn't going to look like a nice check every 2 weeks automatically deposited. But if you know you're doing what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to have will come. So that to me is success. Living in that faith, living in that space, living in that flow.
You mentioned something really important, that is moving towards your purpose, right? So how do you know that you are in that way? Because sometimes, at least for me, a lot of people come to me and say, what is my purpose? How do I know? How do I know that what I'm doing is the right thing to do for me? How do you
Right.
identify that
That's,
for yourself?
that's a very good point. The act of self-reflection and listening is so important. It's overwhelmingly important. People do not pay attention to that. I am a very self-reflective person, even if it doesn't always show in my actions, right? Like I might know, like, okay, you shouldn't do this. You should probably not do that thing again, but I might still do it just because I haven't yet built up the tenacity or that piece, which is fine. I'm human. I understand. I'm a work in progress. I get that. However, I know in my heart what I'm supposed to be doing because I've spent time asking myself, what do you want to do? What feels right? What doesn't feel right? If you don't know, go try it. Spend some time. Like I was fortunate enough about 11 years ago, 12 years ago, I called it my play experience, my play, love, and eat experience. This was right after Eat, Pray, and Love came
Uh-huh.
out. I went out and I lived in New York for like 8 months. I stayed on my cousin's couch for very little rent because I didn't have any money. But I was there to just breathe and think and exist. And I would wake up every day and say, you know what, God, what are we doing today? Tell me what we're doing today. And I would just wait for the answer and I would move accordingly. And that was a nice boot camp of learning how to listen to myself, my spirit, and what God has for me. Before that, there's so many things that were clouding my thoughts and my judgment that I didn't have an opportunity to really listen. But taking that time, and now I do it, of course, through meditation. Now I do it through just sitting, just literally sitting and thinking, letting my mind roam and asking myself questions. That takes time, that takes practice. So when people are saying, what's my purpose? That's a fair question. You probably knew when you got over here when you were a baby, but you couldn't articulate it. And then it got changed as you grew up. And now you're an adult and that voice is gone, but you just have to sit, take the time, and really wait to hear for it. I have conversations with God like God is my friend because I do believe God is my friend. So I'll be like, Lordy, what are we doing today? I need you to tell me if this is the right thing I'm supposed to be doing. And then I will feel it, I will know, and then I'll move forward.
Excellent, excellent. So it's amazing because it's about, as you say, inner reflection, understanding yourself, and take the time to listen. Because many times we are so in a hurry that we are doing, and we don't give ourselves a time to reflect, to go within, and to really feel from within that purpose that will manifest in many different areas of our life.
Absolutely. And it's scary. It is
Yeah, of
scary. I
course.
can I can tell you that. Like this is not an easy thing while I'm smiling and saying it now. It took
Yeah, no, no,
time,
no.
it took years, it took therapy, it took sessions to get here.
Yeah, and especially because we're used to people telling us what to do. And this is totally the opposite. Is you are going to decide what is best for you, and then you're going to follow your dreams, your purpose, your heart. So it's very difficult because you are always waiting for somebody to tell you or give you the approval and say, yes, you're doing well. But now the approval comes from within.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is so hard, which is so you hit it on the head. That is so hard
Yeah.
because from when you're little, you're being validated either by grades or praise from your parents. And then all of a sudden you have to just be like, oh, do I think this is good enough? Which is why one of the things, of course, that I love to focus on with my own child is, hey, does this look cute? Well, what do you think? How do you think about it? Because I want you to start knowing that your opinion matters. That even if you come out of the house wearing 45 different colors with 3 different styles, if you like it, I love it.
Yeah.
Go be yourself because that is where you get the confidence from to live your life.
Yeah, and you get to know it yourself and to know how you feel when you go out in that way and what is the reaction. And you start creating that confidence within and making the changes, the adjustment required for you to feel good and for you to know that that's what fits me. This is who I am.
Right, exactly. And then being okay with people not appreciating or not necessarily approving with you, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll come out the house and they might be like, why are you wearing all those colors?
Yeah.
And being able to say, because I wanted to, and being completely okay with their dissatisfaction in your appearance.
Yeah.
That is something that definitely takes time, especially as women, especially as people who are consistently told, like you said, what to do, what to wear, how to look, what's acceptable, what's professional, what's not professional. All of those things come into play. So when you go into an environment where you are the only one, and I am often the only one who thinks like me, it can be challenging.
Yeah.
But it does take time, and eventually you'll feel better. Like you won't absorb all of that. You just be like,
Yeah.
you know what, we're different, and that's okay.
Yeah, and it's an amazing feeling. I don't know if you experience that, but it's an amazing feeling to be yourself. Wherever you go, you just be. You are you. So you don't have to pretend, you don't have to look for approval. You are just you. And then when you are like that, it's amazing because it's so genuine and authentic that people feel it, and it's the opposite effect. People want to be with you. People is like happy that you are around. They are asking you, what are you doing, right? Because you are
Right.
really being truthful to yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do think people don't realize how lovely they can be and that everybody has their tribe. And that sometimes you're put into groups that you don't necessarily mesh with, and that's okay. And instead of adjusting who you are to mesh with the people around you, be who you are and your tribe will come. You will find your people. You will find them, they will find you, and you'll be able to have your community.
Yes, it is like that. So we are going to continue the conversation after these commercial breaks, more with Dr. Sam Davis. Todo Bello Balloons is a business that was born out of a passion for creating unique and beautiful balloon designs, including balloon bouquets, balloon arches, balloon columns, and more. We specialize in creating unique and beautiful balloon designs that bring your dreams into reality. We believe that balloons have the power to bring people together and create lasting memories, and we are honored to be part of that experience. Contact us and we will bring happiness to your celebrations with our balloons. Watching the Mindset for Success show. Now, back to your host, Carolina Ayala. We are here having an amazing conversation with Dr. Sam Davis. So, tell me something. Do you have any habit, any routine that help you to be on your purpose?
Yes, absolutely. I love planners. Like they make me happy inside. So to be able to plan out my entire day and write everything out, and even making sure that in my day I write things like self-reflection, meditation, breathing, quiet, so that I know that I'm balanced. Because I know it's easy to get swept up into all the things we're supposed to be doing. But I'm very intentional, like, no, this is the day that I'm watching TV. Like I'm currently taking swimming lessons.
Oh,
I'm super excited. Super excited. Yes, I'm an older person and I didn't learn how to swim when I was younger for a variety of reasons, but I'm learning how to swim now and making sure that
congratulations.
I pay attention to things that are important to me and make time for that.
Yeah.
So, to answer your question directly, one of my habits is writing out my day in my planner. Another habit is I have 1 million journals. I have been journaling since I was 13. So I love to write things out and kind of get them out of me. I have taught my daughter that because she said to me the other day, I didn't sleep all night. I was awake, and I know she was asleep. But I know what she means. Her mind was going the whole
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
So I taught her, if you write everything out before you go to sleep, everything on your mind, that gives you some peace so that you can rest, so that you can be prepared for the next day. So I'm very in tune with what I'm experiencing and why I'm experiencing it so that I can articulate it and tell people the support that I need. Like I'll say to my husband, like, I'm irritated right now. So I'm gonna give me like 5 minutes so I can get myself together so I can communicate. Because he didn't do it. I need to figure me out so I can communicate. So those are kind of my tips, yeah.
That's very good because you are so aware of what is happening that you are able to ask for what you need at this moment. Like, I need 5 minutes, let me recenter, regroup, and then we can talk about it. Because it's true, because sometimes you lash out to somebody who is not the fault. They didn't do anything for this that you are feeling right now. So that's really, really beneficial. Really amazing advice. Amazing advice. So when you say that you journal, when you journal, you write down everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, or how do you do it?
That's a good question. So I have two journals. One journal that I think is on the screen right now is a 5-minute guided journal. And it
Okay.
says, what are the 3 things that you want to accomplish today? What would make today great? what are you grateful for, right? That's the first half. And then at night, it says, what happened today?
Okay.
What did you learn today?
Okay.
So it's very intentional in letting you set out your goals for the day and then reflecting on those goals. So that's one journal. Another journal I have is just the feelings. Why are you feeling this today? What happened today? What are you thinking about today? Another journal that I have, which I actually call my Bible, is all of my examples and stories of things that I know that God has done for me. Like I can say, this happened in my life. This is absolute proof that my prayers were answered. This is absolute proof that I got guidance in what I was asking for. So those are all the different journals, everything to capture all the things that go on in this mind of mine.
So you write down on the journals and that's it? You leave it there? Or you, from time to time, you go back and review the journals? How does it work for you?
Right. I do typically just write it and leave it. I don't even go back. Just recently, as I was cleaning something out, I started to look over some of them. But for me, once I write it, I'm done. Like I've released it and it's okay.
Yeah.
So usually when I'm journaling, it's more of like having to release some feelings or get something off my chest versus the journal that you just showed, the intentional one, the 5-minute journal. That kind of helps me keep track of what am I doing for the day and what am I hoping to get from the day. So that one I'll go back. But the big ones where I'm just writing things out, I don't typically go back over those. But they are good to show growth, to show what I used to think and how I think now. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it that you divide it into different journals. Like one to let go things, one to program, you know, like what do I want, what did I learn, and the other one, I love that idea about those, your Bible, your messages, something that give you proof that your prayers are being answered and that you have proof that, oh, this happened, you know, like maybe like a success, let's say, journal, like things that really happened that you say, wow, you know, this happened, I have proof that I'm moving forward, that I'm doing better. So that's really good.
Exactly. Because sometimes you get discouraged. You know, you're waiting for something to happen and it hasn't happened and you feel like you've done all the right things and it hasn't happened. So when you take time to write those things down and you can go back like, wait a minute, I went through something like this a year ago and look how I came out on the other side. Because that's another thing that we've been taught, to just move past the good things. You know, it's like, oh, you got an A, move forward. Get something else. Oh, you had one child, have a second child. Or even asking you about kids before, you know, as soon as you say, oh, I'm engaged. Oh, great.
When the kids are coming, yeah, like, you're like
right. It's like, can I celebrate the first one? And again, I can be honest, I was part of that. I was part of thinking about the next thing before I celebrated the current thing until I started to adjust myself in my Pray, Love, and Eat experience and said, you know what? I'm going to be grateful for what has happened because I know this is indicative of what is possible. And I'll stay in that space.
Awesome. Celebration is amazing because then you bring more of that into your existence. That's very, very good. So when those days, you know, those days that everything gets like difficult, what do? What is your go-to activity or?
Very good question. Very good question. So I will ask myself, what do you need right now? Are you physically tired? Are you mentally tired? Are you in need of attention? Do you want to have a conversation? So I will ask myself, what am I feeling? And depending upon the response, I will do something. So one of the things I might do is watch TV. I love television. I do. I've loved it my whole life, mainly because that's probably what my biggest form of entertainment was. So I'll watch a good TV show. I'll call one of my siblings to just talk. I might take myself out. Like I love to be on adventures. Like I have no problem getting lost. I'll just drive around and look around for things to do. I will also set something up, right? Because sometimes when you know that you're going to have like a hard 2 months because you're on a deadline, knowing that I have a vacation around the corner gives me the energy to move forward.
To keep
Exactly.
moving.
It's like I just got to push through to one more day and then I'll be able to move forward. So being intentional about making sure that I have a vacation every quarter is definitely something I do. Every time I go on vacation, I plan the next one the day after when I come back. Like, where are you going in 3 more months? Because I need to make sure I have something to look forward to. Because some of those days are just hard. You know, they are just hard. So to answer the question, I figure out what I need and then I give myself that, whether that be time, space, energy, conversation, vacation, ice cream, cookies, whatever it is, I give myself that.
Excellent. Self-care. And sometimes we forget about that. We forget to check with ourselves what do we really need at that moment to be able to keep moving forward, right?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So one last advice that you can give to people who is listening to us about how to achieve success being on your purpose.
That is a great question. My last piece of advice, and my husband has told me this for years, is to be nice to yourself. As you figure out what you want to do, who you want to be nice to yourself. Give yourself the grace to make a mistake. Give yourself the grace to not know the answer in that day. But the fact that you're continuously pursuing the answer, you will get the answer that you're looking for. And then trust yourself. Be nice and trust yourself. We've always been taught, do to others as you want to be done to yourself. You need to do to you as you want to be done to yourself. Be kind and nice to yourself, and it'll work itself out.
Yeah. I always say you have to be your best friend
Absolutely.
to be able to keep moving forward, because sometimes if we are not focused on that, on being nice and be loving and kind to yourself, you become your worst enemy. And that
Right.
sometimes is what blocks you to be successful, because you cannot, the only person that you're going to live with for the rest of your life is with yourself. So it's really important, that relationship with yourself.
Absolutely. And it's hard because we do have a lot of thoughts in our head that are negative, that are detrimental to our own success. And one thing I learned a while ago is to outspeak your thoughts. Like, it's an exercise that I do with kids, to say the alphabet out loud and then to count in your head at the same time. Can you do it at the same time? No. So that means whatever you're saying in your head out loud, you can say, nope, I'm great. Nope, I'm moving forward. Nope, that's going to get done. No, I'm not going to let that stop me. And then eventually those voices will stop. And when they come up, you outspeak those negative thoughts, and you'll be able to see that you will move forward. It'll help.
Excellent. I love that exercise. I love it. So thank you very much for sharing with us. If you want to continue the conversation with Dr. Sam Davis, you have all the information on this episode, and thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you so much. You have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching the Mindset for Success show. Join us every Thursday at 11 a.m. to learn how to master your mind and achieve success in every area of your life.